Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Dr. Hank Show. And you know what we do here. We help people become their greatest possibility to be, do, and have more. And, every week we just have amazing guests. Today we have a medical doctor with us, a psychiatrist, and who specializes in some things that you probably have heard already on this show, and that's how to be happy, healthy, with a mind that is happy and healthy. So, Dr. Rozina, we welcome you to the show. Thanks so much for being on this morning.
Thank you so much. It's a privilege.
Well, great. And you're just amazing. And I know you have helped so many people in order to really to have that happy mindset and that healthy mindset. So can you share with us as a medical doctor, as a psychiatrist, that what would we're going into 2022 now, and it's a new year, and there's a lot of outside influences in the world that could potentially slow us down. And so, how do you teach people how to have a happy and healthy mind?
That's a loaded question. um, so I think the simplest or the best formula I can give is what I call mind CPR. Okay.
Ah,
So like when you are having a physical crisis, your heart is having issues, you give a physical CPR, that is like the cardiopulmonary resuscitation.
yeah,
So when you are having a mind crisis, you can use the mind CPR. And mind CPR means C is for calming down,
um,
and then P is for processing your thoughts, what is coming from outside that is not in your control, and what you are doing to contribute to your stressor, or what you are doing in response to your stressors that is making either things better or worse.
yeah,
And then R is for response, so responding with an intention, with the wise mind, with the choice that, okay, well, I am reacting like this. It is not helping me. What are some of the steps I can do to respond to my situation so it helps me feel better? So there are these three steps, CPR, and that would be something that I would like to suggest to people to get through these crisis time. We are in a very different times with all the, not just the COVID crisis that has been going on, the weather crisis, the man-made crisis. So there are a lot of crises going on,
yeah.
and you don't have control on it. So a
Mm,
lot of people are feeling helpless and hopeless, and then when they feel negative, then they do things that actually add to their problems, like they start drinking too much, or
right.
sitting in front of the computer too much, or doing things that they think may help, but then it kind of backfires. So
Yeah.
there are a lot of things we can do to improve situation and feel our best, like you said, feel
Yeah.
happier and healthier despite all the crises and all the stressors that are happening around us.
Well, I love that, Dr. Rosina, and I think what out of all of them, all three are certainly important. But I love you starting out with calm, and it really puts for me a spiritual context to that. That it's about really. Calming your mind, because I always say, if there's any devil, that the only devil there really is that little committee going on in our head, and we've made it very important. And we have this big, huge mahogany desk with these big executive chairs for fear and worry and doubt and complaining and blame and shame, and it's all sitting right up here. And sometimes we feel that we actually can't use our higher self and our higher power and be able to overcome that. And one of the techniques certainly is to be calm. How would you recommend, like, again, I love the words calm, processing, response. Can you get into a little on, first of all, what are ways for, because I know you're very practical too and have great steps to help us, to give us that mental CPR, and I love that, very unique. And so what are some ways to be calm? How do I calm my mind?
So one of the things that I have seen, that people forget to do it, and they forget to do it because there are so many demands happening, and then our life is going so constantly that there are no periods in between, what we call margins. We're writing from the, side of the page to this side of the page, and there's no margin and there's no space in between. So
Yeah,
that's why, when you see text where there is no margin, no indentation, no paragraph, it becomes overwhelming,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So what do? You keep the margins, you indent the paragraph, you make paragraph smaller and keep space in between, right? Things
yeah,
become much more digestible, things
mm,
become much more understandable, right?
yeah,
So
love it.
taking that example in the practical life,
Yeah.
when we start our day in the morning with like, oh, I have to be out by 7:30, so I am going to stay snoozing till 7:05.
Are you talking about my wife again? I never understood that, but she does. Boy, she lives by that.
So what happens is, when you start your morning in this frantic way, then you're running behind everything, right? So you don't have enough time for your brain to process, like it goes from the sleep to the wake state, it hasn't had the time to process. And then
Bless you.
excuse me.
Bless you.
So the first thing is that, and so let me just finish this. So like, people wake up, they go on,
Yeah,
and then they go from one meeting to the other, to the other, to the other. They don't take any time in between,
yeah,
and so there's no full stop, there is no change in the paragraph, it's just kind
yeah,
of constant going.
yeah.
And so by the end of the day, they get so exhausted
Mm.
that then they want to distract, so then they sit in front of the TV, or they they do something that to occupy their brain, they are on their social media or whatever, so that brain keeps going on and on and on. And
Ah,
throughout that day, it's not just the brain, it's your body too. So many times people forget to drink water,
mm, mm,
or people forget to eat proper food.
yeah.
If they're eating food, they're eating on the go, so like, they're taking the fast food, and many times, they end up eating the standard American diet, which is very, very high, in
Yeah,
inflammatory factors.
right.
And so you don't get that fresh fruits and vegetables, and that gives you this capacity to handle the stress.
Ah,
So
wow. I just love that. If I can, I just love, you being a medical doctor, that adds a lot of credibility, and you talking about, that fast food. And as you're running through that, I think I maybe was that way, I don't know, 30 years ago or something, until I woke up and realized, hey, I'm not having fun here. And there's a better answer. And I love your answer on, to be calm, to take time, to stop always be doing. I always say that, if you continue to do, you get do in your life.
right, right,
And
right.
so it's like, hey, I don't want to waste my life away. That so I love on and the examples. I think a lot of us can relate to, some, if not all, of those things, happening to us. So you were saying, yes, sorry.
Yeah, so that I kind of was describing the general adult life
Yeah,
to
lifestyle.
say
Mm.
at this time. Not that everybody is in that situation, but I certainly was.
Yeah.
And the change, and it may give you the perspective how I this topic became really important in my life,
Mm.
was that I was this type A personality go, and most doctors are, most professionals are like, so like, this go person, like,
Yeah.
task and stuff. And I did have a lot of coping tools, but in time of stress, in time of demands, then you stop doing those things.
Yeah.
And so that happened that we had a new office building, and we were getting it all set up, and we had the move. And so one day I was driving back home, I was feeling a little dizzy,
Mm.
and then my mind kind of drifted to somewhere else. And I was saying, oh, tomorrow is my day off, how would I like to kind of spend my day? And
Yeah.
I'm kind of a little daydreaming
Yeah.
phase.
Yeah.
And then boom, and then I
Oh,
realized I was hit. I
wow.
was driving home,
Yeah.
and my mind drifted. It was not in the present moment.
Yeah.
And I ended up in a car accident.
Yeah.
And that car accident was like such a huge accident where I broke my right hand, the
Wow.
bone under the thumb. And
Um,
so it was the crushing injury. So in this small area, they had to put 10 screws to just stabilize that one bone.
are you right-handed? You right?
And
Right.
I was totally right-handed. I did
Oh,
not realize how
oh,
right-handed I was.
bless you. I'm
And
left-handed, and I broke my left wrist in a car accident, and I tried my right hand, and I already have bad handwriting. Man, I really had bad.
right, exactly the same thing happened with me. But it's not just the handwriting, the simple things in life that you
Yeah.
don't realize,
Oh,
like zipping up your pants,
mm,
like changing your clothes, or helping, even
yeah.
a phone, dialing the phone was hard.
I,
Opening the food jar, so my husband used to open the jars
yeah.
before he would go to work, so then I
Yeah.
can actually eat food, and
Yeah.
simple things like that. So life became very, very hard.
Yeah.
And I went through a very stressful phase. But there was an epiphany that happened, like, a month or so after the accident. um, uh, my husband took me to kind of visit the family for change of environment and stuff. And one day I was in helped in the shower upstairs, and somebody was going to come help me after I was done.
Yeah.
And so it so happened that the shower, like, were upstairs, and the people were gathered downstairs. So when I
Yeah.
got done, I was calling them, and they could not hear me.
Yeah.
And so I was stuck in that shower, and
Yeah.
I felt so helpless that I
Yeah.
went inside the shower, and I turned on the shower, and I was banging the wall of shower. You know how you helpless you feel?
Yeah.
And then I
Just
had
the
the
powerless
epiphany.
it was.
Yeah. And then I had the epiphany. I said, I'm banging the wall of shower with my left hand. What if I would have broken my left hand too?
Oh,
What if I would have lost my eyes, or my mind, or
yeah.
my life? And I had a 5-year old kid at that time, and he was
Wow.
in car with me for the whole week before that day. And that day he went back to the daycare. What if
Wow.
he was in the car? And
Yeah.
so I had this shift in my thinking.
Yeah.
And once I shifted, I felt a little better, but then it was kind of weaning down. So a week later, when I was sitting in my bed, and I'm a right-sided sleeper, so I couldn't sleep because there were all these nails
Yeah.
around my hand,
Right.
and so I could not sleep. So I was sitting in my bed, and my friend had given me a diary for my birthday gift. And
Mm,
so I pulled that diary
mm,
for the first time with my left hand, and I
mm.
started writing with my left hand. And the first thing I wrote was, I'm grateful for my left hand
Yeah.
and my eyes, that I could see the greenery,
Yeah.
and a husband sleeping on my side, and a pillow to rest my hand, and the ability to endure this pain.
You know what I love about this is because I know one of your other teachings is about gratitude. I use the word appreciation, but it's pretty much same. That you're really talking here about the epiphany, and I love that word, and just the whole knowledge and understanding. I had an epiphany, and for all of us, and we could actually ask for epiphany. You don't have to go in a car accident or anything to have this. That if you'll ask for epiphany on, you know, what are you grateful for? What do you appreciate? And when you realize and you brought up another excellent point. So you said, first of all, take time in this calming, but also to be in the present moment. And I love that. And if we all just sit in this present moment right now and breathe deeply, that in about 1 minute, that you can feel better, number one, and then start asking, what am I grateful for? What do I appreciate? And it is literally an infinite number of things to appreciate.
Right.
My trillions of cells that are all working together and, making this magnificent body, my digestive system. I woke up alive, that, there's fresh air. Like nobody has ever told me, quit breathing so much air, quit taking all my air. And so it's just beautiful on how that you have you've discovered the way that it's all in our mind, because like you say, you felt disempowered in that shower, and that is the lowest that emotion. There's other emotions like fear um, and worry and doubt, and but fear and disempowerment. But you were right at the bottom of the emotional scale there, and in an instant, by you just shifting that mindset, that you went from disempowered to appreciation, which again, appreciation is right at the top. And when you're at the top, you're with your higher power, you're going to get ideas, you're going to get answers, solutions, all these things. So it's just remarkable on your story, on how you shared with us on that. Now, we still have a few minutes left, and I do want to get first of all, on can you shared with us calming, but what's this processing? Can you help us with how do I mentally process now?
Sure, sure. And then just before I go into the
Sure.
processing, let me just kind of wrap up the thought
Okay.
about the gratitude. And
Yeah.
so that was about 16 years back,
Yeah.
this thing happening.
Yeah.
From that day till today, my day does not start without a gratitude journal.
Got it.
And
Got
so
it.
every day, whatever is happening, having that practice helps me to ground myself, to calm myself. That first thing in the morning, like I said, when you start your day, go, 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 your
Yeah.
mind does not have the time. Writing down helps me also processing. So it kind
Yeah.
of helps me with many different aspects, but it starts with this mindfulness of present moment, this
Mm,
appreciation of the present moment, and then having that habit of putting the pen on the paper gives me that grounding feeling,
mm,
that I'm here, I have the capacity to write now. That's why I appreciate my ability to write so much.
yeah.
um, and that is the reason I ended up becoming an author and a speaker, because what happened was, once I started writing, it kept on going, and I
Yeah.
appreciated my gratitude journal, but then it kind of started going into, it's not just the gratitude, there's so many things you need to manage your day-to-day stressor, especially when your life is upside down. So I don't want to oversimplify, and I don't want to tell people that okay, there's one technique, but then overall I learned so many things that were helping me, that
Yeah.
when I started getting better a few years later, I had the calling to bring this message
Mm,
of these techniques from inside the office to outside the office,
that's
so that
great.
other people who are people like me, professional, they may not be sick enough to see the doctor,
Yeah.
but they may going through the daily stressors. If
Yeah.
I can give them these practical tools, they
Yeah.
could feel happier and healthier and avoid becoming my patients.
That's great.
So
That's
then
great.
that's how I started collecting those small tools,
Yeah.
and then it became the system called Stress to Joy system.
I like
And
that.
that's why my book came out in 2018, which was a Amazon's bestseller. It was called Stress to Joy,
That's
your
great.
toolkit to restore peace of mind in minutes. Because all
Mhm.
these techniques, they take few minutes at a time. But if you invest those few minutes every day, then you can transform your stress into joy.
I love that. I love that. And you are so much talking my language. I have a joy shop in the morning that I ask everybody to make sure you write down and these things. And it is to read the joy shop and just raises your vibration, makes you feel better and towards joy. To write down what you desire. And that's kind of this response. That you have for the R. I'm assuming that
Yeah.
being, intentional like that. And and the second one is to write down what you appreciate in the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
And it literally is a mind shift for you. So you can just have the mind shift without, how do I do it? Hey, just ask her, okay, what do I appreciate?
Yeah.
And I would recommend for all of you out there to write now, just start writing down, hey, what do I appreciate right now?
Yeah.
That you're live, your heart's working. You didn't have
Yeah.
to tell your heart to wake up or
Right.
whatever.
Right.
The
Yeah.
list is long. Now we're just about out of time here, but I loved all of that. And joy is the prize for all of us to be able to have that. And I know you have that you haven't offered that you want to give us something for free and a gift to us. And can you tell us a little about that gift?
Yeah, yeah. So the gift would really go well with the with what you were talking about, because we went into the calming aspect of
Yeah.
CPR, and the
Mhm.
processing. There's a lot more to just gratitude. Uh,
Yeah.
and you can read the book Stress to Joy. There's course available, online course on Stress to Joy. And I
Okay.
do my own podcast on a weekly basis called Happy
Okay.
and Healthy Mind. And
Yeah.
so there's so much of practical information and tools, because I'm a how-to person. So I
Yeah.
teach a lot of how to be happy and healthy in your life, with
Yeah.
improving your mindset and
Great.
learning these techniques. And one of the tools that I would like to share with our audience today
Yeah.
is called Gratitude Challenge.
Okay.
So, a lot of times when I'm asking people to think about things to be grateful for, sometimes they say, "Oh, I don't want to write down, I just think about it."
Yeah.
And I just want to tell people that it's okay to think about it. Think about it, because not thinking
Yeah.
about it is not,
Yeah.
thinking is better than not
Better than
thinking.
not. Yeah.
But what I've seen is that when you are in a positive mindset, when things are going really well, it's
Mm.
easy to think about gratitude.
Yeah.
When you are not having all the circumstances according to your desire, which happens a lot of time, it
Mm.
is hard to be grateful for. So having a habit of doing something reminds you to be grateful for.
Mm.
And whenever something is important, you write it down, right? So you
Yeah.
don't forget about it.
Right.
So writing down has this capacity to affect your brain, and therefore I encourage people to write down. In
Yes.
the 7-day gratitude challenge, if you sign up,
Mm.
what you're going to get is a 5 minutes video to explain a new way of appreciation, a new way of having gratitude, or new aspect. So it kind of keep fresh for you,
Yes.
and some examples, and the challenge
Mhm.
and other resources. And so if you practice it 7 days, then you would kind of get into that mode of doing it, so you
Yeah.
can make it a lifelong practice.
That's
Plus then there would be a lot of other resources shared and discounts on my books and courses. So
oh,
you
okay.
can, yeah, so you can access it at Dr. Rozina, so that is
Okay.
DRROZ for zebra INA.com
Okay.
/gratitude challenge.
Okay, great. And you can see her name there. So it's Dr. without the period, Dr. Rozina. And then .com/gratitude challenge. And you can get that for 7 days and get the new perspective on how to look at gratitude. And then have access to discounted the book and Stress to Joy, a best-selling book. There's a course that Dr. Rozina has. And so some really helpful things that we can provide you in order. And I love this whole idea toolkit to have peace of mind. And, I think a lot of us are looking for peace of mind. And you definitely are an avenue for us to have that peace of mind. So with that, Dr. Rozina, we thank you so much for being on. Is there any last comment, thought that you think that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, I would like to actually end our program with a calming exercise, if you would
Oh,
like.
great. Okay.
Yeah. Um, and so, have you discussed in your program a box breathing, or any of the audience over here know what box breathing is?
Well, tell us. I mean, I teach breathing on 5 seconds in, 5 seconds, deep breathing, and
Okay,
for at least a minute to get connected to our higher
good,
power.
good,
Yeah.
good. So one form of breathing is called box breathing, where you actually breathe in. If you're using 5 seconds, Mark, then you breathe in for 5 seconds, then hold for 5 seconds,
Mhm.
and then breathe out for 5 seconds, and then pause for 5 seconds. And so it
Cool.
makes a box, and therefore it's called box breathing.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
BOX, box
Yeah.
breathing. Okay,
Yes.
great.
And so box breathing is a common thing, but I also kind of take it one step further. And so when you're having something going, yeah, when you're worried about something, then you're fearing, right? So you sometimes tell others, like, if there's a kid who is kind of worrying, you tell your kid, it's going to be okay, it's going to be okay, right? It's
Mhm.
all is well, all is well, it's okay. So you calm the child down. Now
Yeah.
your heart is like a child. So next time you start kind of worrying, just tell yourself, all is well, 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 all is
All
well, all
is
is
well.
well, all is well. And as you start calming down, then start doing it with the box breathing. So say all when you're breathing in, is when you're holding, well when you're breathing out. Let's do it one more time. All is well. And as you are saying it, let your whole body loose, like you are a cat taking a nap. And, and take one more time and take a deep breath in. All is well. How do you feel?
I feel good, do 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 do, like I knew that I would. So good, so good. Yeah, Dr. Rosina, you are amazing. You calmed us right down and put us
Wonderful.
right in
And so
the.
I want to leave you with the message
Okay.
that things happen to you is not in your control.
Yeah,
How you respond to them
yeah.
is in your control. And it is your choice. Every day is a new opportunity to choose either staying stuck in whatever is happening,
Mm.
or make a choice of taking a step to calm your mind down, to process and respond with intention and wise mind. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Mental CPR. Dr. Rosena, we thank you so much for being on the show. It's extremely helpful, practical to help all of us to know that all is well. And so this is Dr. Hank saying, I love you all and know that you can be, do, and have everything that you desire. And it all starts with your thought. Love you. Bye bye. Thanks, Doc.